What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to another video. It's your host Ray. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the long-awaited NG model 1/400 scale Alaska Airlines Airbus A321NEO in the More to Love special livery. This model was released in July of 2022, however it was delayed until August of 2022, and it didn't start arriving to retailers until September of 2022. So us collectors had a pretty long wait for this model, and I'm already going to start off the video by saying the wait was well worth it. Enough talk though, this video will consist of a short discussion of the box, then in-depth discussion and analysis of the model and its features, and at the end of the video I'll give my personal opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. So I'll start off the review with the box. The box, it's the typical NG model 1/400 scale Airbus A320 family box. It's 14 centimeters lengthwise, 14 centimeters tall, and about 4 centimeters wide. So it's consistent with the other A321 boxes that NG has released. I'll show you around the box now. Overall, in my opinion, the box art is really nice, as per usual with most NG box arts. It's unique, and we likely won't see this kind of box art for when they release the other, if and when they release the other registration that's in the More to Love special livery. Something that I did notice on the computer-generated image of the aircraft is the color fade. Something about it looks off, like the nose section here looks pretty orange than what's actually on the airplane, and the most notable thing that I noticed was on the rear of the aircraft, from the purplish blue to the dark blue to the almost black back here, which is an extremely dark blue as well. It fades into more of a unsaturated blue to even a very dark gray. It kind of looks like it here, so that's kind of messed up. And the exhausts for the engines are painted black for some reason, and that's not accurate to the real airplane either. However, fortunately for us collectors, these issues are not reflected on the model itself. Since this model was released after January of 2022, it does feature the Collector Rewards Program card in the green color. And here's the model itself. The model is 11.2 centimeters long for the fuselage length. The wingspan is 8.6 centimeters, and it is about 3 centimeters tall from the ground to the tip of the vertical stabilizer. Accurate to 1/400 scale and relatively small. So I'll start up the review at the front of the aircraft. Here we can see the front section of the plane and the nose. The nose shape looks really good, as to be expected with the NG A320 family mold. Looks pretty good so far. Lots and lots of printed detail at the front. And the red color at the front looks really good. And as we move down the fuselage, you can see the color transition from the red to the pink to the purple to the dark blue to the very dark blue. Overall, it looks really good. Printed detail remains consistent throughout the fuselage. Color looks good as well, and it matches the real airplane. Overall, I have no complaints so far. Here's the vertical stabilizer. Color of the printing, or not the printing, just the colors on the vertical stabilizer look really good as well. Lots of molded detail on the vertical stabilizer. No complaints here either. I will now show the right side of the aircraft. I have the same things to say as the left side. No complaints, and everything looks good here. Printed detail is really good. It's on par, matches the left side, and the colors also look really good on this side. Moving on to the wings. The wings on the airplane look really good overall. Lots of molded detail. The paint looks really good. Lots of different colors. Here you can see the molded detail of the air brakes, the flaps, and also the forward slats. All of them look really good. The different gray colors throughout the flaps, the top of the wing, and the slats look really good as well. Underside doesn't have as much detail. It has no printed detail, but the molded detail remains consistent, so it looks pretty good overall. Okay, I just noticed some paint smudges here. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have a look at that. That was just debris. It wasn't a defect. Now for one of the parts I'm very picky about, the Sharklets. The Sharklets on this model look really good. The shape isn't exactly as accurate as it should be. Like, the bend here is a little too sharp, if you will. It should be more gradual, from going from the wing to from the horizontal part of the wing to the vertical part of the Sharklet on the rear section of it. It should be a bit less extreme, but it still looks really good nonetheless. Paint application looks really solid. I have I've noticed no issues with that whatsoever. So the Sharklets on this model look really nice. Here is the Sharklet on the other side if you were curious. Moving to the rear section of the aircraft, here I'm going to talk about the horizontal stabilizers and the APU. Everything back here looks good. Horizontal stabilizers have a lot of molded detail, more than I'm used to seeing, so that's a pleasant surprise. Underside also has a lot of molded detail. Everything looks good here so far. I don't see anything wrong. APU is just a little lump, I think. Or no, there's actually a little hole for the APU exhaust, so very realistic back here as well. Now time for the engines. The engines in this model look pretty solid. Shape seems good. The exhaust aligns with the engine, and I don't see any issues with the engine bending upwards or downwards. So it looks really good so far. The exhaust nozzle, notice how it's painted a dark metallic gray color, unlike the black color in the computer-generated image on the box. So that's accurate. Fan blades look really good. There's that very prominent ring that surrounds the spinner right there. So that's an issue. That's something wrong with this mold. It's a very small detail, but it's still an issue that's present. So take that into account. Printed detail on the engines looks fantastic. You can even see the small Alaska title on there. And here's the other side. Engine here looks really good as well. I noticed nothing wrong with the right engine either. So, that's our first defect. I spoke too soon. So you can see the exhaust nozzle on the right engine is kind of pointing too far upwards. It doesn't correspond with where the rest of the engine is. The engine placement on the pylon seems pretty good, but it's just the exhaust nozzle that's having the issue. Now time for aerial features. This model features both antennas and Wi-Fi domes. There is one Wi-Fi dome and 4 antennas total on this aircraft. The first 3 antennas and the Wi-Fi dome are in the rear section of the aircraft. A large one at the rear section, a small one by the vertical stabilizer, and then another large one on the underside. And of course the Wi-Fi dome. So you can see the Wi-Fi dome has some sort of strange indentation, which that's not supposed to be there, so I'm going to assume that's from manufacturing. And the antenna down here looks pretty good. Antennas up here also look pretty nice. Sorry for the camera not focusing. And we have one more lonesome antenna at the very front of the fuselage at the top of the aircraft here. The antenna placement and Wi-Fi dome alignment seem to match pretty well. Just kidding about the Wi-Fi dome alignment. But the antennas are attached well. They align vertically with the vertical stabilizer. So no complaints on that. The Wi-Fi dome, I'm not sure what happened. It's kind of attached more towards the right side of the aircraft, so that is very weird. It should be more centerline, so I'm not sure how that happened. Here's the bottom side of the aircraft. You can see a lot of details down here, a lot of printed detail near the midsection and the rear of the aircraft. All of it looks really, really nice, so kudos to NG on that. They did a very good job. Now time for the landing gear. Here's the nose gear. It appears to be maybe slightly short and also a little bit more bent forward than it should. But aside from that, gear looks pretty good. The wheel rolls very smoothly, so that's nice. You can see the number details on the gear door there. Other side seems to be pretty consistent as well, so very nicely done on the gear, on the nose gear. The same can be said about the main gear. The main gear looks pretty good. The wheels roll smoothly, and there is a nice amount of detail on them. I don't really notice any problems with molding issues or anything, so very nicely done. And here's the front of the aircraft. Here you can see the wing flex and gear balance. The wing flex on the main wings and the horizontal stabilizers is perfect. They're bent ever so slightly upwards, and that's accurate to the real airplane. So very nicely done on the wing flex. The cockpit window printing does seem to maybe be a little bit tilted towards the right side of the aircraft or the left side of your screen. However, I'm not 100% sure. And honestly, it's so little, or yeah, it's so insignificant, it's almost negligible. It's very hard for me to tell from here, so form your own opinion with what you see here. Gear balance also seems to be very nice, so very nicely done on that. And I definitely took my time in this review, but finally it's over. Now time for my personal opinion and recommendation. This model is beautiful. I love it. However, there are a few small defects here and there, so it's not perfect, but it's still really, really good. So I love this model, and it will be staying in my collection for a very long time, if not forever. Now for my recommendation. I recommend this model, but proceed with caution. I didn't mention this throughout the entire video, but quality control on this batch has been very questionable and very spotty. A number of models have arrived broken to retailers and collectors. There have been all sorts of issues, such as broken landing gear, engines being bent upwards, broken parts, scratches, and I haven't seen any issues with paint application or printing details, but there might be some here and there. However, those I don't think, I haven't seen any, so I won't say they exist yet. So buy one, I recommend it, but proceed with caution and just know that you're taking a risk when you buy one online. So that's my thoughts on it. Well, thank you so much for watching. Apologies for the extended time. Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for 2 more airplane videos that I'm going to post, as well as an announcement. I'll see you guys later.